Welcome back to Animator Artist Live. Today we're going to look at some really exciting new features of how to get an actual advanced skeleton rig working over inside Unreal Engine. This is using Epic's new control rig technology and it's changing really fast. Now the author of the Advanced Skeleton has put in some features for us to be able to publish and export this over easily. So let's have a look at some of the really important settings we need to be able to get this to work. So I'm going to be using my Isabella rig I made for the Advanced Skeleton rigging series that I did, but you can use any rig for this. You could even use one of the demo rigs. So you go over to your Advanced Skeleton menu, down to demo, and you can load in any of these. You've got the chubby character, you've got Conan, which is really good. Give it a go, load it up and see what you can do. And now I'm just going to quickly go over some important things to know before exporting this out. FK and IK both work, they both come across into the Unreal control rig, but what you do lose is you won't be able to do the IK-FK blending. So at the moment I've got my arms in FK to get nice arcs. Now if I want to use the blender up here, FK-IK blend, to blend between IK and FK, that currently at the moment won't work. It won't come across the Unreal control rig. What you do is you just pick the one you want to go with and export, but both will work, but only one at a time. But by the time you've seen this video, I mean, it might have changed. Things are advancing so quickly. I mean, a few weeks ago, the facial rig wasn't compatible, and now it already is. So the author of Advanced Skeleton is fantastic, making really fast changes with this, and also Unreal with their new control rig technology inside of, Unreal Engine is very new and it's advancing very quickly. So, by the time you've seen this video, this could all be working, and more advancements could have been made. So first of all, I'm going to go back to my FK arms, and I've got IK legs as well. And we want to export this, but to get the facial rig to work, you have to have used the blend shape method, not the joint-based facial setup. If you have, you can convert it within Advanced Skeleton, or you can go back to an old save version that you've had before you've rigged the face, or just do that part again. So I'm going to just show you up in the face menu. If I go down to here, I've got Game Engine selected, which is not necessary, but it's good to have that, because what it does is it gets rid of advanced things like, Delta Motion head squash that's not needed within Unreal Engine and probably wouldn't be compatible as it went across. And then most importantly, the rig type. So your face needs to be blend shapes, not the joints or the mix. It needs to be blend shapes. And what this will do, it will send across the blend shapes through as morph targets within inside Unreal. So these will all be put into morph targets, and they'll be put back on these controls, as you'll see when we get into Unreal in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to close that down, and now we're ready to do the export. What we need to do is we need to export the whole rig as an FBX, so it's got all the joint data, it's got the skinning and the geometry. Now what we can do is we can use the FBX export button within the export settings under Advanced Skeleton. So I'm going to hit the FBX export button here, and what you'll notice is this selects everything that I need and opens up the export selection. What it does is it actually selects the deformation system and your geometry. So I'm just going to cancel this and show you this. Now if I've got my geometry, I've put inside the geometry group node that you're given with Advanced Skeleton, so you can see all my geometry in here, and I'm going to turn on, show you the joints so you can see it all selected. Let's go view joints, and I've got X-ray joints on it here so you can see it through the geometry. Now it's exactly the same as if I went and I selected deformation system and geometry and then went to file, export, selection, and I did it as an FBX. It's both the same, okay? If for some reason this doesn't work, you can do it this way or you can do it manually, okay? So I'm going to hit the FBX export button under Advanced Skeleton, and it brings up our menu. Now there's a few things, important settings under here, which we need to do as we export our FBX. So we're exporting everything, the mesh and everything. So you need to have animation checked here. If you don't, you will lose the ability to export the skins and the blend shapes. Now we're not exporting any animation at the moment, but we need this check so that we can export the deformed models here, the skins and the blend shapes. I've got shape attributes on as well. I'm not sure that's necessary. I've got smooth mesh as well. I've smoothed my normals anyway. And if you go down, I've got constraints, skeleton definitions, and I've also got embed media. Now what this does, it sends across the texture files that you need. So this is really important to have on. So once you've got all those set, make sure you've got all those on. Give your file a name. I'm going to just call this just, the name of your character, _rig, it can be whatever you want. And I'm going to hit export. And you're going to see what that does is it goes through and it'll export everything I need, and it will come up with, you will get some warning errors. I've got just a couple here. So I've got, at the moment, I've got one material, and it's saying that there is an unsupported map. I know that I can ignore that because it's a ramp node that I'm not using. That was part of the old eyes. You may very well get some different errors, and these are known as DAG pose nose errors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this little help box here, and it says you may see these extra errors, which I initially did, but I've already ran this command. And I'm just going to show you another picture of what this could possibly look like as well. So if I zoom in, it could say the plugin is found following skin definition problems, unable to find the bind pose. Okay, so what that is it's the way the bind pose is stored in Maya and Unreal might not match. You don't need to understand the way this works. There's a simple fix that the author of Advanced Skeleton has put in first, which is brilliant. I'm going to run this for you so you can see it. You're going to hit rebuild DAG pose node, and down here you can see DAG pose node bind pose created, and that would have fixed your errors so that now when you do your FBX export again, that error will have gone as it is in mine. So now you've got your FBX, everything exported exactly as we want. So now we're going to go over to Unreal Engine, and we're going to bring in this to set up so we've got everything set up as our rig. Then we're going to come back and we're going to export our control rig. So let's hop over to Unreal Engine now. So here we are back over in Unreal Engine. I'm using version 5, but you can use version 4, it still works just the same. So we're going to drag and drop our rig file, FBX, that we made from Maya straight into the content browser in Unreal Engine. And that's going to open up the import settings, and there's a few important settings that we need to set to get this to work. So we have skeletal mesh, we have geometry and skinning weights and import mesh selected, and you might have this hidden. What you need to do is open up the advanced settings. So you might have this closed at some point. So you need to click this little arrow here, open up, and we need to go down to import morph targets. I'll just open this up a little bit, and that needs to be checked. That is off by default. What the morph targets are the blend shapes to get the face to work, the facial shapes. We need to import those and convert them into morph targets. And I'm just going to scroll down, check our other settings. Everything else is at default, and I've also got create new materials. What that's going to do is it's going to create materials from our textures, from our materials, shaders from Maya. So let's click import all and let that run, and that could take a few seconds to a few minutes depending on how heavy the mesh is and your computer configuration. So let's just let that run. And here we go, you can see it's loaded up, so you get a few little error warnings, but there's nothing to be worried about there. You can close that down, it's all going to work. I'm just going to close this window, and as you can see over here it's saying compiling shaders. What that's doing is loading in all the textures and the shaders, so you can let that run and you will see all the textures start to appear here. I'm just going to let that run. And there we go, and you can start to see our character appear in here, and there it is, and here's our rig, here's our skeleton. So I'm just going to double click on the rig and just open this up, and let's have a little look at what we got so far. It'll open up the asset browser, and there we go, here's our rig, and there you go, it's all come in perfectly well. So we can just rotate around, and what we're going to do is, you can't see the joints at the moment, but you can click on them and select them here. So I've selected the spine part 1. As you can see, it rotates perfectly. I've got snapping on, so you want to turn that off as well, and on the rotation, so that we can freely just rotate however we want. Just undo that. Let's just try picking on a shoulder one or something. Let's see here, shoulder. There we go. You can see all that works. We can rotate the shoulder, and then you've got all this down here. What you can see here is this is the morph targets. These are our blend shapes from our rig. So I'm going to zoom in on the face here, and just so we can see this working, this looks really good. So let's have a look at here. Let's just try and raise the eyebrow, and then you can see it's raising up and down exactly as we want, and it's gone a little bit grey just for a few seconds. It sometimes does that just once, only for a split second to load the textures again. So let's just reset that one, and let's go down to sort of a blink. You can see that all working. What you need to do is convert this material into double-sided. in your scene. Let's reset that. So you've got squint as well on one eye. You've got the other eye working there as well. Click these and it will reset it. So let's try something else. Let's go down to, say, mouth close and open. You can see that's working really well. So it's really good. You've got all these more targets, the cheeks. Let's see what else we've got. Let's scroll down. Then you've even got let's see, you've got the mouth razor on each side, you've got the jaw side to side, you've even got the sort of the lip rolls and everything. They've all come across. Let's just try a few more. A little wide here, and you've also got those ones. If you look back in Advanced Skeleton on the control rig, you get the sort of mouth phenoms as well in the different shapes. You've got O and everything. That's all come in for you. Let's scroll down, and you've also got even the pre-made faces that I don't really use these inside of our Advanced Skeleton, but you've got them all built in here. You've got angry, you've got happy, all built in. So this is all working great. You can see, you know, everything's come across our joints. All the morph targets, and that's working perfectly as we want. So I'm going to close this down, and if you want, you could sort of drag this onto stage. All I've got is a blank scene here I've just started with. I'm going to hit the F key to zoom in, and you've got, there you go, you've got our character, but we haven't got the control rig imported yet, so we've got no curves, we've just got the joints and everything. So now the next stage is to pop over back to Maya and export the Python script for the control rig. So all it is it's just one button, really quick and easy to import, and then we can just execute this, which will recreate the skeleton inside Unreal. So let's pop back to Maya now and create that. So exporting of the control rig to work in Unreal is extremely simple. So they have created for us a simple one button export. You can see it here, it's called Control Rig Export here. If you can click the little the helper icon, you can read about it. So it creates a Python script that can be executed in Unreal to create an Unreal control rig based on the Advanced Skeleton rig. So what we're going to do now. So you just click Control Rig Export. It will bring up your export save as box. It's just come up on my other screen, and you're just going to give it a name. I've already saved one out here. I'm just going to go over the top of it. I've just called it, you know, undername rig, and then just click save, and you're just going to go overwrite it, and you are done. It is literally that simple. And now we're going to go back into Unreal Engine, and we're going to import that and do a really simple setup that we can just execute that script for us. So we're back in Unreal Engine again. Now, to create the control rig, we need to turn on two things in the plugin settings. If we go to Edit, Plugins, we need to type in the word control, and you'll see this plugin here called Control Rig. You need to enable that. I've already got mine enabled. It will ask you to restart the engine, which you can quickly do, and it will be set for that project permanently. And then you need to secondly go to Python and make sure you have Python Editor Script plugin enabled, and then you are good to go. So I'm going to close this down. Now I can right click on our rig node here, and you'll get this extra command come up called create control rig. That would not be there if we hadn't turned on the plugin. I'm going to click this, and you'll see our node appear here. This is our rig control node, which we're going to execute the script in any second now. So I just want to do something here. I'm going to double click and open this up. Now it's recommended to simply just turn off auto compile to help the Python script run faster. So at the moment it's on. I'm just going to turn that off, and I'm going to close. So that helps everything run faster. So now we are good to go. Now I'm going to select our control rig node here. Make sure it's highlighted. This has to be highlighted. And we're going to go up to Tools and then Execute Python Script. Now, if you're using version 4, this will be under the File menu, so it's just moved, okay? So we go to Execute Python Script, and then you locate the Python script that we exported just now from Maya, from the Advanced Skeleton, and mine is this one here. I'm going to click Open, and then I'm just going to let that run and do its thing. It could take a minute, so let's just let that run. And there we go, that's created. So let's double click and open up the control rig and now see what we've got. We're going to open up in the editor. And there we go. You can see here you've got all our Advanced Skeleton control curves now onto our rig. So let's just have a zoom in and let's just see what we've got here. So we've got our main root controller, and it's the same shape as it was in Advanced Skeleton. So let's just have to move this around. There we go, that's working really well. And I've turned off snap and enabled as well, so we can see. Here's our IK legs. Let's just have a little look and see what these look like. I'm just going to move one of these up and down. There we go. IK leg working really well. I'm going to go zoom out here. I'm going to have a little look at the face. Now see what you get here. It's now you've got the same control panel. If you look over in your Maya, you've got the same control panel here, this one here, now over in our Unreal here. So it matches. Let's just see what we've got here. So you can see you've got these few extra red ones as well. I'm just going to show you those. So let's just move this mouth one around. There you go. How cool is that? That is now working as an advanced skeleton rig inside of Unreal. Now what these ones are here, so if you've got the eye controllers here, so if I went to say move one of these eye controllers, let's just move this around here. Now if you remember on the eye controller inside of Advanced Skeleton, you've got extra attributes. So over here, let's just move over to here to close this out of the way. You've got your blink and your squint. And that's what those do. It's giving us now sliders if we want it. So if I click here, you can see this has got your eye blink, and there you go. You've got your blink and you've got your squint as well. So now you've hooked all these up to sliders. So you've got here, let's see what this is. So you've got your lip control here, and you've got all these little extra sliders here. So if I have a look over here, you've got upper M squeeze. You can see the lips moving. I'm going to have a look at some of these. So you've got mouth open, that's the M shape. Let's try one of these. I click on this, that's the disgust emotion, so I can move this up and down. You can see it's all working now. So how cool is that? That's all inside inside Unreal now, and you've even got the hairbands and everything are working as well. So if I select a few of these, press the rotate, everything's working great. So I'm going to close this down now, and I'm going to get rid of this from the scene. That was the one we had before, and now you can see it's populated a proper icon. It's got all the controls now. I don't know if you can see that on my screen here. It's a very small thumbnail. So let's now drag this into the scene and watch what happens. I'm going to drag, I'm going to let go, and it automatically creates the controls, and on my other screen it's created a sequencer window. I'm going to show you this in a second. So I am going to, let's see if we can press the F key. I'm going to zoom in, and there's all our controls, and she is on the stage now. So here is our IK foot, okay? And you've even got, let's see, if I move this leg up, you've even got the pole vectors for the IKs to move the knees. I'm going to undo that and go back to this, and I'm going to say, go in. I'm going to try our hip controller. That's moving really nice and smoothly. You've got our hair controllers. Let's say select a few of these at once again. Oh, sorry. I'm going to select this one and this one, just for example. And up here, brilliant. And again, I've turned off snapping. If you had this, it would snap. So turn that off to be able to, animate the characters. So let's zoom in here. Let's have a little look at the mouth. I'm going to grab this. There you go. It's working really well. And let's have a look at some of these sliders. There you go. Brilliant. And let's now zoom in on the hand here. Let's have a little look. Let's see, you've even got all the finger controls. So I'm going to zoom in here. Sorry, there's not much room on one screen. I know I've got more than one screen, but I'm just trying to obviously show you as much as I can. And there you go, all the fingers working brilliantly. Oh, I've accidentally turned on snapping again. There you go, all the fingers. Let's say even down to the knuckles. Now you can see what I've got here. This won't rotate the correct way, so I'm going to change the gizmo from world to local, and then select it again, and now you can see everything bends exactly in the direction I want. Let's try the wrist control. I can move my hand around. Everything is working really well. Now, it's also giving you the sliders. If you don't want to use these controllers, it's giving you the sliders these are the finger curls. So if I go back to Maya a second, if you remember on this control here, you've got these sliders. So it's turned those into sliders for us. So if you have a look at this here, okay, there you go. You've got your sliders. Okay, so now the beauty of this is it's actually set up a sequencer. It's appeared on my other window. I'm going to bring this over now and show you something here. I'm going to try and fit everything over here just for you so we can see it all. Let's maybe move the content browser down out the way. Okay, so I hope you can see this. So what we've got here is it's put everything into the sequencer for us as well. So as well as using the controls to animate, you can also go right down to, say, the pinky finger. Let's have a little look. See, that is now our wrist here. Open it up and you can now rotate from the sequencer. You see this? Even down to each metacarpal in the sequencer. Let's have a little look at rotate. You can see this, there you go, you can see it rotating in there. So I can now, there you go, there's one of the things, oh, I've rotated it way too far, but you can see you've got really fine control. So you can even go into the FK shoulder, let's rotate that, there you go, there's the arm. Now let's go down to where this really helps. I mean, I would use the controls to animate the full body parts, but when it comes down to, say, things like, let's have a look at the eye. So we can rotate the eyes, there you go, up and down. I would use these sometimes instead of these little tiny sliders. I would use these, so you can use a combination. So let's go to control left eye, or let's say, let's try the nose control, shall we? There you go, you can see the nose being affected here. Let's go up and down. You've got the lip control of the nose. So you've got so much control here. I mean, you've got the lip rolls all in here, and you can just go set a key, and animate. How good is that? Let's have a little look. You've got so many options here. So you could set a key on all of these things and animate directly within Advanced Skeleton. So you could use, if you want, you could just use a combination. You can use these controls. You can go and you can rotate the, you don't have toe controls here, but they are in here. So, you know, it's not as advanced as using all the controls in Maya. You know, if you went back to Maya, you do obviously have more controls to animate with, but you know, this is the first generation of using the control rig technology of Unreal with the amazing Advanced Skeleton that I love, you know, directly in here. So, you know, you can still use the way of just animating in Maya and export to Unreal, but this new feature is new. It's growing already. Like I say, the face didn't even work a few weeks ago, and now it does. So you can imagine you're going to get FK, IK blending soon. You know, all within Unreal. You know, so be able to animate straight in here is just amazing. You know. So I just wanted to show you this feature. I really hope you liked it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this advances. Technology is moving really fast, so I'd love to hear your opinion. Give it a go on the demo rigs, on your own rigs. Let me know how it goes. Let me know if you find it fun, what you're looking forward to for them updating, if you've managed to animate inside Unreal with this, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you create.
So there you go. I hope you found that useful and you've managed to get your rigs working. Let me know in the comments below how you get on, what you thought the limitations were, and what you're looking forward to seeing next. Now, would I use this in production? Now, we use Unreal to render our character animation for clients, so yes, I would use this, but at the moment I probably would still, for most complex animations, still use Maya and import it across. But the technology is changing so fast that I can really see this as an exciting feature that I will definitely be utilizing. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you give it a like, tell your friends, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.